I'm from Jersey, so I look at it a little differently. I say Trump.
I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
What they meant to say, Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
F Trump? F Elon Musk? Wow. Let's talk about what we just witnessed. Another classic example of Democrats losing their minds over the idea of cutting government waste while simultaneously throwing out the most vile, unhinged, and disgusting rhetoric against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Let's be honest, the real debate isn't about spending cuts, it's about control. The left has zero interest in reducing the obscene bloat of government spending because they need that money machine to fund their reckless social experiments. They would rather burn taxpayer dollars on woke propaganda and foreign nonsense than do what's right for America. And in this next clip, Kellyanne Conway, she laid out the facts in a way that absolutely crushed Leslie Marshall's weak, typical Democrat talking points. Let's get into it.
President of KAC Consulting, and Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist. Both are Fox News contributors. And as I said, Senator Ted Cruz coming up in moments. Ladies, great to see both of you. I want to pull this up. This is from Jerry Baker's editorial in the Wall Street Journal. As Democrats stand up for the bureaucrats against DOJ. He says it was a tableau for the ages. One example of the many strange battle lines the Democratic Party has chosen to defend the past few years. Illegal immigrants over citizens, teachers' unions over parents and children, criminals over victims, men turned women over girls. Good luck with that, Democrats, he writes. You may want to fire your pollsters. Leslie, let me start with you. Your reaction to the, sort of vulgar language that was just used that you saw from Democrats who seem to be wanting to die on the hill of not cutting spending in Washington.
Oh, I would disagree. I'm a Democrat. I want spending cut. But I don't want people who are in the middle of a medical trial who have medication in their body and could become very ill or die because of that type of a cut. When you're spending millions to send the president to the Super Bowl, when you have people that are not vetted properly, when you have people that don't have security detail, when you have people who are experts in computers rather than forensic accountants or CPAs looking to cut budgetary items. And then which budgetary items? You want to cut fat, you want to cut pork. I and Democrats don't have a problem with that, but we do have a problem when you're cutting programs that affect the health care for veterans as examples. And I could go on and on and on and take up the whole show with cuts that are going to hurt people, farmers that are going to be hurt in the Middle East.
Yeah, but Leslie, the issue is that Democrats have never wanted to cut anything. They have never come forward in the way that we're seeing now. And Kellyanne, let me let you weigh in here and answer Leslie's discussion here that they're cutting things that are hurting people. What do you say to that?
Well, that's what they want us to believe. They want to scare people instead of get the facts and actually help a little bit. Why not some bipartisan action, Leslie and Martha, on things that are so outrageous and egregious, no one can possibly rationally disagree. No one who doesn't have stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome, which is everyone you just showed. Leslie, I don't think your party looks good right now. And sometimes you just have to say the away team is having a bad season. We're going to regroup. You don't want to defend the indefensible. It is indefensible to say that we should be spending billions with a B on nonsense, on things that don't work anymore and never did. Transgender parades here and spreading atheism in Nepal there. I think the people of Nepal need other things other than godlessness. Look, you know that it's been going on the last 4 years. I always disagree that people said Joe Biden's not doing anything. I think he was doing a lot of harm across this world and in this country. But taking a woke agenda and exporting it to the world and asking all of us to pay for it. Ladies, I'm old at this point. I remember you're politically correct, you're politically incorrect. Ha ha, we can go have a drink and laugh it off. Now people are saying, excuse me, your wokeness is costing all of us money. You're putting dollar figures behind it. Now, those Democrats, if they actually had chapter and verse, Martha, of people who are being denied benefits and things that are going askew, we're all listening. I want to hear it. They're dropping F-bombs that you have to censor on a 3 o'clock in the afternoon show. They're obsessed with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who are only trying to do what Trump was elected to do, what we all want done, which is to make sure that our money as taxpayers is going to things that help Americans, that help around the world, we can help, but it can't be for all this nonsense and these wasteful programs.
Democrats want to cut fat, cut pork, maybe, but we know what they don't want to cut is the money going to their pockets. This is the only argument the left has, whining about Republicans cutting programs while completely ignoring the fact that these programs are siphoning billions from hard-working Americans to fund woke nonsense, corruption, and special interest. Give me a break. Kellyanne nailed it when she exposed their real agenda, spending money we don't have to push leftist ideologies onto Americans while pretending that cutting waste is somehow harmful to the average person. It's a lie. They push radical gender politics over common sense. The left is spending your money on transgender parades overseas while American families can't even afford groceries. And yet, this Democrat, Leslie Marshall, has the audacity to sit there and pretend this is all about veterans and healthcare. Spare me. The truth, Democrats don't want to cut anything because their entire strategy is built on government dependence. The more people rely on the government, the more power the left holds. They need chaos, they need crisis, because without it, they lose control.
Let me quickly play this from Joe Rogan, and with a warning that there's another F-bomb in this one, too. Watch.
Joe Biden had went in and found corruption that was in the halls of our government and tried to weed it out and said there's corruption in these NGOs, there's corruption in these not-for-profits, there's a lot of corruption and influence, and we're going to weed this out because we want a fair country. The place would be cheering him.
Leslie, what do you think about that?
I think if we're cutting waste, why are we cutting anybody who's not a Republican from a certain committee or certain department? If we're cutting waste, why are we firing people who had a certain opinion politically on January 6th? If we're cutting waste, then how come it's not being done in a bipartisan manner? How come it's not being done with transparency? How come it is a constitutional crisis? They're just not only not caring about the Constitution, but the legality of these things. When Congress appropriates funds, whether it's Democrat or Republican, you can't just say,
Leslie,
we'll throw out the executive branch and the judicial branch.
Leslie, you had 83% of Americans polled saying that they wanted significant or complete overhaul of the government. So are you willing to admit that your party has completely overlooked how strongly Americans feel about cutting this spending that has gotten us $36 trillion in debt?
I would admit they want spending cut. I don't admit this is the way they want it cut, and they certainly don't like seeing gas prices go up, eggs, bacon, bread, which are just three today.
Yes, those were so inexpensive under Biden. Listen, 98 days ago, less than 100 days ago, was the election. The election was 98 days ago. A month ago, we didn't even know who was running the country. Now there's absolutely no doubt. And the volume and velocity with which President Trump is enacting this agenda, this mandate to actually cut out the waste and showing us, ladies, I think this is the important part. It's all transparent. Today we're cutting USAID here. Today we're exposing this program and that program. They're making it transparent. And I think this is the end of Chuck Schumer, Martha. I think that they have no message except to attack Trump and now Musk. And I think those old war horses in the Democratic Party are going to be on their way out. They act like the election didn't happen yet.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. Leslie Marshall, Kellyanne Conway.
And when the Dems have no real argument, what do? They scream, they curse, they lose their minds. This is what the left has become, a party of screaming activists, not serious leaders. Meanwhile, what is Trump doing? What is Musk doing? Exposing the truth, cutting the fat, fixing the broken system. Democrats can't handle it because, for the first time in decades, someone is pulling back the curtain on their corruption. And here's the kicker. Americans are waking up. Polls show 83% of Americans want major government reform. 83%. But Leslie and the Democrats, they are pretending like the problem doesn't exist. They're doubling down on failed policies, bloated budgets, and cultural insanity. And that's why they're losing. So here's my message to the left. You can scream all you want. You can drop as many F-bombs as you want. You can whine and cry and stomp your feet. But the American people see through your lies. Kellyanne Conway laid out the truth, and it's time we listen. Cut the waste, drain the swamp, put Americans first. It's that simple. The left thrives on deception. The right fights for reality. Which side are you on? Drop your comments below, hit that like button, and share this with everyone who needs to hear the truth.